Good morning, friends. I am going to share with you today a full day of food in our house. My name is Julie. If you're new here, I am a mom of 5, so we are a family of 7. We mostly eat at home. We do a lot of homemade. I make a lot of breads and just less processed foods. I focus on high protein, just feeding my family well. But there's always room for a treat as well. On that note, I made ice cream yesterday. So Andrew got me, it's in the freezer right now, but it's the ice cream attachment for the KitchenAid. And so I made a batch of strawberry ice cream. It was delicious. The freshest, just most tasty ice cream. It's definitely gonna be something that I make again and again through the summer because it's so good and you just know every ingredient that's in it. Yeah, I'm still just thinking about how good that was. I finished that clip and put the camera down forgetting, wait, the whole reason I pulled out the camera, I'm gonna show you what we're having for breakfast. So all the kids actually, except for Zara, she's eating a piece of toast over here in front of me. All the other kids had breakfast this morning as I was working out and showering. They were just up and at it early this morning. So everybody had toast for breakfast, I believe. I do have one child who likes to skip breakfast, so I don't know if that child had breakfast. But we had some sourdough cinnamon raisin bread, some other fresh sourdough bread, so that was eaten this morning. And sometimes, like if you guys see my grocery hauls and meal plans, and I put toast on the meal plan for breakfast, and sometimes I get comments saying like, is that all? My kids would never be full of toast, or my kids would never just have toast for breakfast. And I'm like, I don't know, like, are you just picturing that each kid grabs one piece of bread and like toasts it and butters it and that's all they have for breakfast? One, sourdough bread is very good and filling. 2, they are putting all their toppings on their toast. And they are always free to have extras on the side. Usually the kids grab a fruit, they can grab a yogurt to have with their toast. If they want to, they can cook eggs. Often they're like, nah, I'll just keep it easy and just have toast. But anyway, when I put toast on my meal plan, the kids can absolutely choose what they have on the side with that. And yes, they are satisfied and full and happy to have that for breakfast. I just had to make that comment because I've gotten that comment a few times and I'm like, I don't know what you guys are picturing. Anyway, they all had their breakfast. I am going to make myself a smoothie for breakfast. I also pulled out of the fridge, so I always batch boil some eggs. I do like a dozen at a time and they last us for a week. Most days I have, if I'm having my smoothie for breakfast, I'll have eggs as well, and then also Andrew will take those for lunches or we'll have them, whatever. Boiled eggs are just so nice and versatile, so I'll put my smoothie together. I'll tell you what I put in that smoothie. So far I have some almond milk and cottage cheese in my Vitamix. Now I have some frozen, this is just a berry mix. Yeah, okay, I better go to my other freezer and get some more strawberries because that's not quite enough. Okay, I have been delaying juicing these strawberries. Okay, that wasn't too bad. These strawberries have a story. So I did groceries. Actually, you know what? I filmed a grocery haul the day I did this and I forgot to even ever show it, but I had ordered my groceries. The kids had brought all the groceries inside after we got home, and so I asked the kids, like, is that everything? Yes, everything's out of the trunk. Well, a few hours later, I opened the trunk and realized, nope, there were still a couple bags of frozen strawberries, which were no longer frozen at all. And so one thing I love about buying these strawberries, did you just pick that up off the floor and put it in there? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're doing that, eh? So,
it tastes yummy.
Yeah. So, these strawberries are so nice. You want to have a frozen one?
Yeah.
They're so nice and separate. Like, you just pour them out and they're all separate. Well, now because I stuck it in the freezer after that, I have a huge block of strawberries. Yeah, not so nice. Anyway, my frozen fruit. And then for my powders, I add whey protein isolate, just unflavored, unsweetened, a scoop of creatine and a scoop of collagen, and blend. It kind of hurts your mouth.
Yeah.
Because it's so cold.
Is the camera on?
Sure is.
Okay. Oh yeah, because the red light is on. Mom, can I do my math test now?
Did you make your bed this morning?
Yes.
Did you brush your teeth this morning?
Yes.
So there's my smoothie, and also those 2 boiled eggs. Put pepper on those, and that is what I'm having for breakfast. There's a little hum in the background in my kitchen because I plugged this guy in today. This is a UV light, and it works so well to attract the bugs. I would show you inside of here, but it's pretty gross. There's a whole bunch of dead bugs in there, and then you just have to replace the filter once it's full of dead bugs. But it really draws the flies in, both house flies and fruit flies and everything. Because, okay, Wesley always wants to check inside and see how it's doing. Okay, you check. I was just saying to a friend recently that we haven't had flies yet. And then like literally the next day, the fruit flies came in. The fruit flies, I know, let's cover it up. The fruit flies.
I want them to see.
You want them to see? I don't know if they want to see all the dead flies. Okay. That just screws on like that. The fruit flies have found my sourdough. So this morning I noticed 3 or 4 trying to get in kind of underneath the lid here, and I was like, nope, that's it. I'm plugging this guy in. I also was gonna show you that I had chicken stock going. That's what was in my slow cooker for the past like 2 days. So I always start the chicken stock in the Instant Pot, and I set it to 24 hours. And if I want to use the stock, then I'll use it after 24 hours. But often what happens, same thing that happened today, or yesterday I guess it was, the timer went and I was like, I'm not ready to use this yet. I'm not ready to strain it yet. Sorry, kids are like in and out of the house, rollerblades. Okay, I think they're all out now. My goodness, the noise. If I'm not quite ready to use it or strain it yet, then I just turn it on for another 24 hours. So this was cooking for about 48 hours. I just strained it this morning. I'm letting it cool down a little bit. And I'm actually not sure when I'm gonna use the stock. So I'll either put it into the freezer or I'll put it into the fridge, depending on, because I don't have it on the meal plan. You know what? I can probably use this up tomorrow at lunch. So I think I'm just gonna scoop it directly into a pot and put the pot into the fridge, and then I can just take that pot out tomorrow and make the soup. And they're back inside. Why are you guys in and out, in and out? Can you just stay outside for a bit? No, where's the fun in that? Okay, I also am just realizing I never told you that I had a coffee this morning. I don't think I included that, but yes, I always have a coffee in the morning. I have like 2 sips left now, and I'm about to start making lunch. So like I told you, I had made chicken stock. So I also have leftover chicken I just pulled out of the fridge. So we have, well, I'm gonna chop this up. I'm gonna chop all the chicken into little pieces, put some mayo, salt and pepper, chives, and chopped up apple. Put that all together and make like a little chicken salad spread. I also, speaking of all my homemade items, I also made sourdough English muffins a couple days ago and stuck those in the fridge. So we're gonna slice these, toast them, and put the chicken salad on the English muffins. I mentioned this to the kids, and one of them said, can I please have sourdough bread instead of English muffins? I was like, sure, that's fine. It's just one of those like, why? Why do you like sourdough bread better? I mean, sourdough bread is delicious, but English muffins are so good, but I do have one child who likes bread so much better. I'm just gonna transfer all this broth directly into my pot, and then it'll just be ready to go when I actually end up making soup. In the fall and winter months, I have no problem using the stock up. It's like I cook up a chicken, I make stock, I make soup, just part of our weekly routine. But in the summer months, I'm a lot more likely to be freezing the stock just because obviously it's summertime, we're not as likely to have soup weather. So I'll often freeze it and then just have extra in the fall. But I'm not sure what kind of soup I'll make this week, but I'm sure I can find a way to use this up. Such good stock. By the way, this stock is from our very last chicken that we raised last year. So we raised 2 batches of chickens last year. It was 65 chickens in all. So we just had the last one. We have more chickens in the backyard right now that, you know, we have a couple months before we're butchering those, and we'll have more meat in the freezer. Okay, I think that's about enough scooped out, and then I'll just pour the rest in here. Now to chop up all this chicken. I'm sure that this is more than we need for this one meal, but I'm just gonna chop all of it up anyways. And if we have leftover, this works just fine for leftover. Just chicken, I'm definitely like looking at the calendar. Okay, how many days ago did we cook this? This was already 2 days ago. So if we don't finish it today, I will have leftovers tomorrow just to make sure we're not keeping chicken in the fridge for too long. Whenever we cook up chicken, like when we do the whole chickens, we love eating the brown meat first. I think all of us in this family. The brown meat is just so juicy and nice. And then the white meat, like all the chicken from the breast, and what else is it that has white meat? The wishbone, right? Yeah. All the white meat is great for leftover in soup or in a casserole or like a chicken and rice dish or something. It's great for leftover, but when it's fresh, we pretty much eat all the brown meat. It's just so juicy, so flavorful. Should I have chosen my next size up metal bowl? Absolutely, I should have. I may transfer. Yeah, I probably will, because these apples I think will be enough to overflow, and then it's about impossible to mix. I think I said I might add garlic. I didn't add garlic, but I did add some mustard, also some chives, salt and pepper, and mayonnaise. That's it. The mayonnaise is a little bit tricky, just eyeballing. I might add a little bit more. Also, have you guys made homemade mayonnaise? I have not. This is store-bought mayonnaise, but it's one of those things I really think I need to try making it. And now that the kids are done school and we're into the summer, I feel like I have a little bit more time for, you know, trying to make some more things. Sometimes I just feel like I'm at my limit making all of our breads. And then just, you know, homemade meals. Sometimes I feel like, okay, I can't do any more. Like, I don't know how to keep up with all the homemade things, but mayonnaise is one thing I definitely would like to try. Okay, is that enough? You know what? I think it is. The last English muffin and some bread are toasting there. The others are ready, so we're about to eat here. Also, that's the only annoying thing about this, is that there is a slight hum. And so sometimes I'm like, I just don't care to hear that extra little noise, so I unplugged it for now. The chicken salad. And then one thing I do a lot in the summer is prep big salads. So we're right at the end of these, but I had made a big container full of coleslaw. I think we had it for 3 dinners, and so this is just the last little bit. And then same with Greek salad. I think this is our 3rd time having it, but it's just the last bit of Greek salad left. So that makes it nice and easy on summer evenings. Typically, if we can just do like baked potatoes or rice, that's kind of our go-tos, some barbecued meat, and then salads that we can eat over a few different nights. Just pull it out, it's ready to go. And then also a garden salad here. This afternoon just flew by and all of a sudden it's time for me to make dinner. I'm actually starting dinner a little bit later than I should have just because I am making a new recipe tonight. Anytime I make a new recipe, I like to start a little bit earlier just because I know I have to follow instructions, and so sometimes that can be a little bit more time consuming. So I got a meal kit box from Good Food. So the meal I'm making tonight is smoky beef and goat cheese. I don't even know how to say this. Albondigas. I'll show you the recipe card a little closer in a minute. But it looks really good. So Good Food is a Canadian company that sends you meal kits. It's a subscription service. They have given me a 70% off offer to share with you guys for your first Good Food box. This is fortunately for Canadians, but unfortunately for the rest of you, it is only a Canadian offer, and I think that's pretty special because there are so many things shared that are like even just giveaways, you know. I go and watch YouTube videos or I look on Instagram and it's like giveaway and it looks great, and then in the little font at the bottom it says open to US residents only. So this is for my Canadian followers. If you want to get 70% off your first box of Good Food, I will share all that info down in the description box. Here is that recipe card. So it shows all of the ingredients over here, and then on the other side it shows the step-by-step instructions. I was trying to see if it shows how long this is supposed to take to, oh, there you go, 30 minutes. Okay, so we're not doing too bad. I decided to go for 3 of the exact same, and I'm just gonna make that all up tonight. We could have maybe gotten by with just 2, but I just wanted to make sure it's enough, even if there's leftover, that's fine. So I've got my ground beef here, and let's start making this recipe. To start with, I have got kale. This is kale, right? Yes, kale, carrots. I've got this sauce. This is just a, what does it say? Just a tomato sauce, a spice mix, goat cheese, almond flour, and 3 cloves of garlic. So I'm looking at these carrots. I'm a little bit tight for time, so I'm not even gonna peel them. I am just gonna chop them. And yeah, they will be just fine. While I chop the veggies, Charity's getting the meat mixture ready. So ground beef, flour, the spice mixture, garlic, eggs, salt and pepper. Was that it?
The cheese.
Oh yes, cheese, goat cheese.
And
right?
Did you say this?
Flour, yes. Yeah, so you're gonna get that mixed together. I have cooked with kale. What am I doing here? I already took it all off the stems. I have cooked with kale a couple of times. Oh my goodness, Julie. Okay, I should have used a bigger cutting board here. But kale is not something I cook with often at all. And that's kind of a fun thing about doing meal kits, is that I get to cook with different flavors than I typically would use. And so it's a nice way to kind of experiment with different dishes. Sometimes you can get different ethnic dishes than you would typically use. And sometimes there's just a lot of different ingredients you can use that they just give you small portions of. So if you've never tried those ingredients before, you don't need to be buying like lots of it. So it's a great way to try out different ingredients or different dishes than you would typically use. And these veggies smell so fresh and good. All right, Charity is going to start. You might want some help with this because it might take a little bit of time with a triple recipe, but we're going to shape the meatballs next. Also just figuring out how to chop kale. Like, is that chopped up enough? How small do we want it? The meatballs are doing quite well on this pan. Pretty well. This pan, I don't know if I just didn't have it on hot enough before I put the meat on or what, but the meatballs started falling apart and I was like, forget it. We just need to eat here soon. So I just kind of just, you know, kept moving it around and it all got ground up. But I took a little taste of some of this meat. It is delicious. I don't know what I'm tasting, if it's just the spices or the goat cheese or what. So flavorful. Now I am sauteing the kale and the rest of the garlic in this pan while we just wait for these meatballs to finish. The kale and meat is all set aside, and so now I'm just gonna put the carrots into my bowl here. Let those saute for just a couple minutes. Now we're just adding some water, these 3 tomato sauce packets, and this last spice packet. Bring this to a simmer until the carrots are softened. As you may have noticed, this is definitely a low carb meal. And I also have some leftover rice in the fridge. So what I'm gonna do, did I already get a scoop out? Yeah, it's over here. I thought I would just warm up some rice for the kids. So I got my chicken stock back out of the fridge. This is what I like to do if I am reheating rice. I just, whoa, okay, that was hotter than I was thinking. Oh my word. So just a couple spoonfuls of chicken stock there. And then once that chicken stock is hot, the rice will warm up. I don't know if I want to heat up all of it. A little more than that maybe. But it will warm up so quickly because of the hot stock, and then your rice isn't gonna get like soggy, or sometimes it's just tricky to reheat rice, and this is a way I have found that just works really well. It should be hot in just a second here. The carrots are done, and so I just added the beef back in with the sauce here. Lots and lots of veggies in this meal. There's the kale, and then that bit of rice for the kids who definitely would like carbs with their meal. Actually, I say that. There are a good bit of carbs in carrots, but rice on the side anyways. And I'll show you a plate of this all plated up. That dinner was delicious. Not all of my kids love cooked carrots, and so that was a lot of carrots if they weren't big fans of carrots, but overall, it was so good. I loved the flavors. And that's the thing when you try a meal like the meal kits. I know I already said this, but just different flavors than you usually cook with. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I can take some of that and use it for future meals. I'm just waiting for the coffee pot to finish brewing so that we can take a cup of coffee on our way out the door, but I just quickly grabbed some snacks for us to take while we go out tonight. So we've got a bunch of strawberries and blueberries we're gonna take along with us. And then these are sourdough crackers, varying amounts of doneness. I made these yesterday morning and I did kind of let some of them over bake, but they don't taste burnt at all. They just taste like, I don't know, they taste good even if they're kind of over baked. So I'm gonna bring that with us as we head out to sports this evening. And there's my coffee for the road. Little evening treat tonight. I have some of these, which are so good. They're like a chocolate caramel. And so I'm gonna eat a couple of those, and not this whole bar, that's for sure. But I am gonna have a few pieces of this before bed and close this video here. Thank you for watching today.